Hi, Gracie. How
Hi.
are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm so glad that I got to see you again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, of course.
I know you have such a hectic schedule, so I really appreciate it. And I think it's great that you're taking the time for yourself to come here as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so how's everything been going?
Good. It's been a tough week, but it's been good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been a little bit tough.
Yeah, I mean, just the same stuff that we were talking about last time.
Mhm.
Nothing new. But...
Okay. So last time we went over the goals, and the primary goal was self-care for you.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to set aside time to really enjoy the things that you used to enjoy. I believe you said hiking,
Yeah.
traveling,
Mm-hmm.
are things that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is that still the same?
Yeah,
goals?
I really like those things a lot.
Okay. Okay, great. So in this session, we're going to really focus on your relationship with your husband in the past and in the present, and how that's kind of shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to focus on how you're feeling, because I know a lot of the reason that you're here is because you want to get more of a sense of yourself and what you need to accomplish. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Are there any questions before we begin?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So you said it's been a tough week this week.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing has changed or made it harder. It's just, I don't know, it just gets difficult the more the same things go on. You know, like that's why I'm here, is I have a hard time sleeping, and just a lot of other health stuff is hard, and then my husband can't do much, and so it's just a hard time right now.
Can you talk more about you're having trouble sleeping?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a hard time sleeping probably the whole time that he's really lost a lot of his capabilities and functioning, and so I don't know, I'm just really worn out. I really love to sleep, but I just can't. Like, even if he's asleep, it's hard for me to sleep, because he could wake up at any time and then need me, and then what am I I have to be awake for that, so it's just hard.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine, when I don't get enough sleep, it's a very different perspective the next day. Is that true for you as well?
Yeah, I just kind of feel like I've been walking around in a fog. It's just really hard to think straight.
When did this start?
Like 6 months ago.
6 months ago, and that's when your husband got ill?
Yeah, it was like around the same time.
Okay, so you've only experienced insomnia during that time, or have you experienced it prior to your husband getting sick?
I mean, when our kids were really young,
it
happened, like when they were babies. Just like in the middle of the night, knowing like they could wake up at any time and need me, and so like even when I am asleep, having a hard time staying asleep, because I just kind of wake up in a panic, like, oh no, what if they're awake, or what if they need me, and then just going to sleep is hard too, because I just can't stop thinking about what if they wake up right now, or now, or now, or now. It's just all that, like a little tape over and over again that keeps me up through the night. So just, I mean, I'm really glad that hasn't happened since then, but, you know, now it's like the same pattern all over again.
And do you see any similarities from when you were taking care of your young children to now?
I mean, the similarities I've seen are, I mean, it's almost the same thing, and I hate saying that because my husband isn't my child, like, he's not, and I don't mean that like that, but it is true in that I care for his every basic need that I did for them. Like, I feed him, and I feed him all of his meals, and I bathe them, and all that, and I do the same for him right now, and they couldn't talk then, and he can't talk now, and all those things are similar. It's just, I don't know, it's just different because you expected it with a baby, but I wasn't expecting this.
Right. I think last session you had talked about wanting to travel with your husband, and this really being an opportunity for you two to explore more of yourselves and your relationship. So I imagine that must be really hard to completely switch your perspective and future goals.
Yeah, it's like every expectation I had for us is nowhere near going to meet that at all, and that's really hard because it's not just my expectation, but it was our expectation for both of it, like together. So it's just hard to give up.
So it sounds like the common theme between taking care of your young kids and your husband now is that someone is dependent on you and you're kind of an on-call, the only on-call person for that. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little different then when my kids were so young because, my husband was more able, but he worked so much, and I never wanted him to have to get up in the middle of the night for them. I was a stay-at-home mom for that time, and so I knew that if they were sleeping during the day, I could sleep, but he couldn't do that if he was at work. So, he was there, but he worked a lot, and I was home with them all the time. And anyway, I'm just trying to say he contributed, but I was the main caregiver then. Mostly it was me, and then now I'm definitely just the only person who can take care of him now.
Were you feeling a lot of stress back then and now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really stressful to be someone's primary caregiver. And it's just hard to think about yourself or to rest at all.
Mm-hmm. So how often, frequently do you experience these insomnia? Like, how frequently are you experiencing trouble sleeping?
Every night.
Every night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that can get a little bit
yeah, it's super exhausting. Like, I don't feel like myself, but he doesn't seem like himself either. So that's also weird. It's like neither of us is really ourselves. We're just kind of like weird versions of ourselves, and that's really difficult.
It sounds like you're doing a really great job balancing right now, taking care of your husband, though. It sounds like that's really important to you, and despite lack of sleep, you're going to accomplish that goal for the day, is
to take care of him.
To really be there for him.
Yeah, I really, it's really important to me to take care of him. I don't know how well I'm balancing it. I'm definitely doing it, but I think right now it feels like 100% of everything, and that doesn't feel very balanced.
Right, I know, I shouldn't have said balance.
That's okay, I was just confused.
Yeah, no, I guess I meant more, it's a big strength that I see when I talk to you is how well you're coping with the lack of sleep and still being able to function the next day.
Yeah, thanks. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like I'm coping very well, but I am able, because it doesn't feel like I have a choice. I don't mean that like I don't want to do it, because I do want to take care of him, but also, really, when I'm tired, what else am I going to do? I can't just not take care of him anymore. So I appreciate it, but it also doesn't feel like much of an accomplishment when it doesn't feel very optional.
Okay. Are you experiencing anything else other than exhaustion?
In terms of how stressed I am?
Any health related.
Yeah, it's hard to sleep, and I've been feeling dizzy a lot. Not a lot. It's really not a big deal. It's like, I don't know. I'm not really worried about it because it just happens so quickly and then it goes away, and it's just not a big deal.
Okay. How frequently do you experience the dizzy spells?
Right now it's like once or twice a day.
Okay. Anything to onset that, do you think?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It feels really random.
Okay.
I don't know, but I haven't really been paying attention to it because it just kind of happens, and then I try to just move on and forget about it. All right, I really obviously that's what we just talked about. Anyway.
So you said it happens 1 to 2 times a day. Is that every day?
Yeah.
And how long has that been occurring?
Pretty much about another 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like the stress of your husband's illness is really weighing really heavily on you and on your health.
Yeah, it is really heavy on me because sometimes too it just feels like I don't really have a way out, and it gets really sometimes I just wake up in the morning and I don't want to do anything. I just don't want to get out of bed, and I don't really know why I'm bothered. When I spend all this time caring for someone who doesn't, I don't know, he's so important to me, but it just feels like, I don't know, sometimes I just feel like I'm not doing enough because he still feels so awful, and no matter what I do, it's never what he needs, or it's never enough. And so, I don't know. It's just really, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't want to bother with all of it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really discouraged because you're putting in so much work and so much of yourself, and it's really not making a difference. Does that?
That's how it feels. I mean, and I know it is because if I didn't do it, I don't know what anyone would do, what he would do, or what the alternatives be. But I mean, I just feel really like aimless and kind of pointless. I know I'm not, but I don't really know why I bother sometimes. Like, I don't really see a lot of progress. There's no progress. It's just maintaining this awful state he's in. And I don't mean that I want to stop, because I don't want him to anyway, I don't want to lose him. I just don't know. It just feels really pointless sometimes.
That must be really hard.
Yeah, and especially because I can't tell him that.
Right.
Like, he can't talk, but he can listen, and so I can tell him a lot of things. It's at least that part of our relationship. I can still tell him everything, but I can't tell him that. I can't tell him that I wake up in the morning and don't want to do life anymore. Like, I don't want to deal with it or him, and because it's not that. It's not him. It's like it's just a situation, and it's really hard.
Do you have family members that live close by?
Yeah, I mean, my daughter lives in town, but she's really sick too, and I wish I could do more for her as well, but I just, like, I'm hardly doing this, and so it's just hard.
What is your daughter sick with?
She has MS.
Okay.
And so, there's a lot of, she's just really weak throughout the day, and she just can't do a whole lot outside the home.
And is that in your family history? Is MS pretty prevalent? Or?
I mean, my grandmother had it, and I think on her dad's side, like his mom.
Okay. So. That must be really tough. The two very close people to you are not in the best physical state.
It's really hard. I mean, the good thing about my daughter is that she's mentally there.
Mm-hmm.
With MS, it doesn't, or at least it hasn't. That I don't know. I don't think it impacts your brain or her mind, but it's just physically hard for her to do much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good thing, is I can talk to her on the phone, or like if I magically have the time to go over there, I can like communicate with her and she communicates back to me. But still, she's really limited, and I hate seeing her that way. It really breaks my heart to see my daughter at such a young age not be as capable as she could be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other health history in your family that you've really seen in yourself or in your children?
I mean, my son, I don't know, he just has heart issues, but I don't really know why. Like, we don't have a history of that. Just like a really inconsistent like heartbeat. I don't know, it's weird. I mean, he has a pacer now, but yeah, he's in Alaska though, so I mean, it's just not as like day to day something that it's not super integral part of my life right now because he's so far away. I don't know.
What about for you? Have you any had past experiences with any health issues?
I mean, like, I don't know, I've had trouble sleeping, I told you about that, like with my kids, and then now, and, I have, like, a lot of numbness in my leg, and that's just kind of been there since I was, I don't know, 20.
Oh, okay.
But I've gotten doctors about it over and over again, and they don't know what it is, and it's not MS, which normally it would be, and it's not any sort of internal issue or a spinal issue or a neuropathy or like a brain issue like it normally is. But it's just kind of numb all the time. And back then I was a runner and I would run a lot, and I couldn't run really because the more I would run, the more numb it gets, and so now it's just kind of always a low level numb, but if I run more or something, it gets worse. Anyway, that's kind of a random thing, but I mean, that's always kind of been there. I'm really used to it now.
Well, it really seems like you're much in your life, and there's so many stressors put on you. Do you feel like you have time to take care of yourself at all? Do you feel like you have time for any kind of relief?
Not really. I mean, no. The most relief I get is when my husband sleeps. But like I said, that's even hard because he could wake up at any moment and then need me again. And he'll need me, and it'll be another like big crisis type of need that we have to go to the hospital. Like that's why it keeps me up at night is, it's not just like I'm afraid he'll need me to go to the bathroom or something. It's like he's going to need me again because he'll have a stroke or something. Anyway, so I don't, if anything, the care I get for myself is sleeping when I can calm down.
So if you finally fell asleep and you had a great night's sleep and you woke up to a genie and he was to give you one wish, what would that wish look like?
I mean, I would wish for my husband to be back to normal, to somehow recover and like have all of his mental capacities back. I just miss him, and I miss talking to him. And I get to talk to him, I guess, but I miss hearing him. I miss his voice, and I miss hearing what he's thinking and feeling. Like I just don't know any of that. And that would help.
Do you think a closeness of another relationship might help as well? It sounds like you're a caregiver for a lot of the people that are close to you.
I mean, yeah, but I don't want him to feel replaced.
Of course not. Of course not.
So I don't know. I don't want to replace him. I don't know. I mean, I think it would help, but I don't want it. I don't know. I just miss him.
So we're going to talk more about kind of more of your goals. Is there any other goals that you think that I should be aware of? Because I know self-care is a big one, and we can talk about different options in order for you to be able to take care of yourself more.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is part of self-care, but just any way that you might know of for me to get assistance in taking care of him. Because right now it's just like, I don't know how I can keep going like this.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to give you some resources after our session.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Is there any other last comments or anything before we end?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you so much again for coming.
Thanks.
I think it's really big of you to be able to take this time for yourself, and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. It was nice to see you again.
Bye.